Parmesan see spaghetti and meatballs staring at me. Spaghetti and meatballs staring at me. Get yourself a serving, maybe two. Talking Bulls basketball is what we do. Get your garlic bread and your dish of the week on spaghetti and meatballs. Oh yeah, spaghetti and meatballs. Don't forget the Parmesan cheese.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't hear
We
you.
are back. Spaghetti and meatballs, Trevin and Johnsy. Hey, buddy.
What's up, man?
Just enjoying the show.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
So big W last night.
Big W. Yep.
Let me ask you, do you remember what we said? Because I swear that was after 7 games. Is that what we had said, that they should be 5-2? I can't remember what we had said.
Well, it was something like that. I can't remember exactly either, because I know we broke down their first 10 games.
Okay.
And so we were hoping for 6-4. But I do remember going through that a lot of those wins were early on in those 10 games.
Yeah, because we said there was this streak that we're on coming up.
Yes, so I think it was 5-2 or something like that.
Hey, you know what? We pull out the next 2, and we're only a game behind of where we wanted to be.
Exactly, and I think it'd be a miracle if we did that. But
I read one of the accounts that follows us today, and I didn't disagree with the statement. It said tomorrow night's Suns game is a must-win this early on in the year.
A must-win against the Suns.
Well, let's
November.
give people a little context, because you and I were talking, a little pregame show, and said that, what are we doing? We're muddling around. We're outside the playoff window right now. Do we rebuild the whole thing? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. I mean, like you said, we're on the outside, and I was looking at, there was, I don't know what it was, but one of those, playoff predictor percentages.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an 87% chance to not even make the play-in.
Yeah,
so,
that's not good.
No, those aren't good odds. So I think that it's like we were kind of talking about, these next 10 games are going to make or break. So it's not totally out of being ridiculous to say that this is a must-win game.
No, like I said, we laughed, and I was like, this guy might be right.
Really, all things considered, they have to turn it on now.
Yeah.
We can't. They don't have the benefit of the doubt like the past 2 years, where it's well, let's see what it's like at the All-Star break. Let's see what it's like after, coming up to the trade deadline. It's now or never. And
we talked about, there's guys in the front office that are far smarter than we are. Maybe. But the fact of the matter is, we get this year's first round pick, and next year's is even worst case, top 10 protected. So in order for us to keep that, we have to be one of the bottom 10 teams. So it's if we're not going for the gusto, going for it all right now, and we're just going to miss the playoffs and do the same thing again next year, then it's okay, we just lost both of those.
Yeah, no, you're right. The writing's on the wall, because we can't jeopardize more future first round picks.
Yeah,
to end up maybe at 500.
Yes. So it's to me, and again, we said this last year at the end of the year when we were at rock bottom.
Oh boy, it's dark times.
They were dark times. We said we're supporting no matter what.
Yes.
But we wanted to trade.
Yes.
And then if they didn't, we'd be yep, we're not complaining about it. We're going out. We're dealing with it. But I'm right now, I want to trade all Zach, DeMar, and Vooch.
Yeah. I mean, in reality, that's really the best move, because, again, finishing 500 this year and getting in the 8th seed, that's not, we're not. I mean, when we've dealt with reality, we've leveled with everybody. This is not a championship roster.
No. But
not.
You know what? And it's frustrating, because first half versus the Nuggets, it was are we?
Right. I know, because they actually like played good. And gosh, who was the game? I can't remember. Even the Mavs game, the first half,
Yep.
I want to say we were winning. It
We
wasn't by
were.
a lot, but yeah. So, they show stretches. Last night's game was a great game, start to finish. Like, and it wasn't just, there was like a game earlier in the year against the Pacers that we won because the Pacers had an off night shooting.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of like wide open,
Right. Where
threes.
Right. Last night's game, the Jazz made almost 50% of their shots.
Yeah.
The offense was just able to stay in a rhythm. So,
and like I said, we're not all doom and gloom. If they keep the team together, we're rooting for the team.
Yep.
Two things that I want to say that I've been really impressed with, and I'll let you either comment on this, disagree, agree, or bring up your own points, is number one, Kobe White's defense. He's taken like a ton of charges that he hasn't been doing.
Yeah.
In the past. And the second point I think is controversial because there's some recency bias, but Patrick Williams is picking it up offensively. I know we went games where he had like 3 points in 3 games total, and it was like, dude, you got to do something here.
Right. So that, to your first point, that's one of my favorite improvements watching Kobe White play is his defense overall, but the charges that he's taking, like I like what I've seen from Kobe.
I think he's playing like great defense lately.
I agree. There were a couple of games where he left a little to be desired offensively, but overall, like he's had some really good games and his defense is there every night. So I agree with that.
He had, sorry to interrupt you. He had a defensive sequence against the Nuggets the other night when he got switched on to Michael Porter. And it was like a clear mismatch, and he played great, like unbelievably great defense. Michael Porter just hit like a crazy tough shot, and I was like, "What do you do?"
Right, yeah. I didn't see that one in particular, but I mean, he's been doing that where he'll get switched onto bigger guys, and he's not backing down. So it has been nice to see.
Yeah.
To your second point about P. Will, that's a complicated topic
for sure.
I think they did the right thing and have him coming off the bench. I think that move was obviously needed. And because of that, you're right. He's looked better on offense. I don't know if, playing with those other guys, he just would stand in the corner, and let everyone else do their thing and take their shots.
And the frustrating thing for that is you and I have talked about it for a couple of years is, we like Patrick Williams. We do. There are times when it's like, what are you supposed to do when you're standing out there with Levine, DeMar, and Vooch? 2 out of the 3 in DeMar and Vooch really require some time and some space to kind of operate.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're 100% right. It's because of the style of play of the other guys that definitely affects it. But, it's kind of like my kids – my oldest, but when he was on a soccer team when he was younger, there was like 4 kids that were just unbelievable, and my kid was okay, but he just would stand on the side. He knew he didn't have to do anything. So it kind of reminds me of that, but to your point, it definitely has to do with the style of play as well.
I don't think he did himself any favors by coming out and saying he wanted a $200 million contract.
No, and then playing like that. No,
and then like scoring 3 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get a like 1/3 of that at this point.
Right.
So
but I do like with him on that second unit. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I like when with him and Carter, you get Ayo in there. I like that mix.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
The second unit's been pretty good.
Let me ask you though, do you think Javon Carter should be starting? Just because that I love Kobe. He's my guy. He always has been. Vooch is your guy. We always talk about this on the show.
Right.
It's just
I don't think so. I don't think
I'm
so.
I'm with you.
And I think I can see why someone could possibly make that argument or that, make that point. But I think, like we discussed, Kobe's done enough with that starting unit. And I think the ceiling is higher with him in that starting unit than it is with Javon. Plus, I don't want to take away from that second unit. And I think he fits in there pretty nice with them. So, yeah, I would keep it just as it is. I would be open to it as the season progresses if things change. But right now, I'd kind of keep it as it is.
Yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow night. I think I heard Bradley Beal would be coming back, or could be.
Yes, I heard it's a good chance, or a better chance that he could.
Better chance. Good chance, better. But it's just, there's so many times when I think we match up well with teams like defensively, where it's like, okay, we put Torrey Craig on Durant. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that we have the answer to
Torrey Craig revenge game, by the way.
Yeah, Torrey Craig. I freaking love Torrey Craig.
I know.
We tweet about him. We talk about him.
Yeah, Torrey Craig. He has been like number one on my favorite things so far of this season.
And you know
at least
who else?
Pleasant surprises. Not that I expected it to be bad, but it's been better than I thought.
I read Greenberg column who said that the Bulls all summer long, and particularly now, have been getting calls on Alex Caruso.
Oof. Well, I mean, in reality, he's probably the one that you could, possibly get the most for, just because of what he brings and because of his contract.
Like, at this point, unless you're offering me, like, I see some of these trade offers when we talk about, like, today, I'll just throw this out. I see Bulls give like Javon Carter and Zach LaVine to the Heat for Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and like 2 late future first round picks, like 2027, 2028. And I was like,
I mean, it's not terrible when you put Duncan Robinson in there, but I don't want anything to do with Kyle Lowry.
No, and to be honest, I don't know if I want anything to do with that. I don't see him long term being like, oh, here's a championship team. And
yes,
Duncan
he's not.
Robinson's there.
Yeah, right. He's not. Yes, that one of those pieces on that team. I agree.
Like the ones that I like are like Zach LaVine to the Sixers for Tyrese Maxey in a first round pick.
Oh,
I'd be like, yep, sign me up.
Like right now, now, I would do that.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking for a Thunder type deal when they got Shea from the Clippers, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that is, I don't know, because you have to, and we were discussing this too. You can't just trade just to make trades. Like,
no,
I don't want, and I know that was your point as well. Like, I'm not interested in a 2029 first round draft pick.
Yeah,
like that does nothing for me. I mean, I'm realistic that we're more than just a few trades and a few drafts away from a championship team, but still, I
like when they tell you, okay, hey, we're going for 2029. We're going to be relevant. It's like 5 years. Like, yeah, like you and I said, like, suck us in with the rebuild, which is fine, because I think it's different than like a Cubs or a Sox rebuild where it's like those guys are in the minors. We don't even hear about them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're in high A ball out in Toluca.
Hitters league.
But when we get like first round, when we get young guys, like we're seeing them out there, like, okay, we're going through it, but it's fun. It's exciting.
Yes, you find out pretty quickly, within a year or two, if this rebuild is going to work. Yeah, where with baseball, it can take much longer.
Yeah, and it's like, hey,
that's it. I mean, you hit on one of those first round picks. All of a sudden you make one good signing and I don't know. It's in basketball, it's a little bit more realistic to see it happening over 5 years as opposed to over, 10 years or something.
Yeah. 8 so now it's like tomorrow night, like I want the team intact. I'm going for the ball. I'm hoping we win.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, where do you want to go with this show for about the next 15 minutes? Are we talking trades or are we saying we're intact? Because you know what I mean? It's just like we could go.
Okay, so here's what I think we need to do.
Tell me, lay it on me.
We need to take a look at the next 10 games.
Okay.
And realistic, and not necessarily need to go through them one at a time, but we need to just understand that like the next 10 games are going to be awfully telling on what this team needs to do.
Okay, you brought it up. Right now we are 3 wins and 5 losses. Let's go through the next 10, and we won't dissect them. We're just gonna say consensus win or loss, and I'll write it down.
And like truthfully, not like, oh, maybe they could, like just looking at it. What's your first instinct?
Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then we both say it.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so the Suns. 1, 2, 3.
Lose.
Lost.
Okay.
Okay. After that, we have the Pistons. 1, 2, 3. Lost.
Win. Oh, I'm going.
Okay.
I just don't see you play the Pistons twice and you lose both those games in the first 12 games of the year.
Yeah. And this one is at home. This one is at least at home.
Okay,
So,
we'll leave that one like in the maybe column.
put that one in the win column.
Okay, I'm gonna put
that one in the win column.
It worries me that I had to pull your leg, like really twist your arm and
against the Pistons, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Let me convince you on that one.
Okay, you ready for this next one?
Yeah.
We got the Bucks.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Lost. Yeah, I guess that one speaks for itself. But here's some intriguing ones coming up. So,
hey, will you also tell me home or away?
Yes, I will. So we actually have the next 2 games.
Is this a home and away versus?
It's actually
like a weird Miami thing, like where it's like
it's showing it's a home and a home. Like we have 4 home games in a row. We play the Magic twice and then the Heat twice. And according to this, they're all home.
It is something weird because I saw that earlier on a different site.
Huh.
Okay, so you're telling me it's Magic, Heat.
2 and 2.
Okay.
2 and 2.
Here's
All 4 of them are home.
Okay. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down what I think we can do. You tell me. What do you think?
I think we go 2 and 2.
Okay.
1 and 1 against each of them.
Well, here's what I wrote down.
Specifically, we will lose, then win, then lose, then win.
Here's what I put.
Ooh.
But I'm going to go. You went with me on one, so I'm going to go with you. So we're going to go 2 wins and 2 losses.
Still, I like your optimism, though, John.
Yeah,
I really do. I respect that so much about you.
We got 3 games to go.
Okay, so next game is at the Thunder. Hey. 1, 2, 3.
Loss. Okay.
Yeah. It pains me to say. Okay, next game we have at Toronto.
Ooh, okay.
1, 2, 3. W.
Okay.
Yes. That's one of the in-season tournament games.
Oh, we need that one after that. That's a bad Brooklyn loss.
Yeah. Oh, and one of those games against the Magic is also that as well.
Maybe that's why it's that weird, like.
Oh, that probably is. Yeah. What'd you think of that court?
Oh, I did not like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of like most of what I saw like around the league.
Yeah.
Like at least but some of them were at least tolerable, but that one is.
You know what I would have liked to see? Like a super simplistic, like red outline, no like emblem, just like a circle at like something like real.
I like that. Like we're like inside the arc would just be the regular hardwood.
Yes, regular floor. Like I don't know.
Man, the league office needs to get a hold of us.
They do.
More things like this.
Hope they watch the show. All right, we got 1 game to go.
Okay, we got at the Nets.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, win. Yes. Okay.
Right.
See, so
you know what? You want to know what the record was then?
I would like to know. Is it 5 and 5?
5 and 5. So let me ask you then. Oh, yeah. We're sitting at 8 and 10. If everything goes according to plan, 8 and 10 after 18 games. What are for simplicity's sake, what are the next two? Because we'll get to 20 games.
The next two, it's against the Celtics and the Bucks.
Okay, so then in all we're at 8-12.
And honestly, 8-12 is like if things go good.
Yeah, which isn't it's just okay. You're right there. You're 25% through the season. You're 8-12.
Yeah.
So we're all in through the next 12 games.
After that, we will decide.
What is the date? What is the date of that Bucks game?
The date of that Bucks game is the last day of November.
All right.
November 30th.
So Friday, December 1st, we normally do shows Friday. Friday, December 1st, we need to mark it on the calendar. That could be us discussing only trades for that show.
It very well could be. If I'm curious, okay. So, because at 8-12, I'm obviously not sold on like, yes, we're all in. I'm still wavering. I'm actually probably leaning more towards still trading everybody. So what would you think? I mean, maybe 5-5 is a record for you to think, like if we go, or 5-7, I guess, if we're 8-12, like what would we need to go over those next 10 games for you to feel like, okay, let's not sell off?
Okay, if we say those next 12 games,
yeah. I mean, I would think.
You know what I need out of those? I need 7-5.
I was going to say at least 7-5 as well.
7-5, December 1st. I'm talking about. Let's see where this goes till at least the All-Star break. That's right. Where I'll say that right now.
And that would get us to 500, right?
That would get us to 500.
That would be at 10-10. Yeah, I would be okay with that.
And I'll tell you what, tomorrow night's a big step. You get tomorrow night's under your belt.
Ooh, that would be huge.
Yeah.
That would be huge. Did we play Phoenix early in the season?
No, not yet.
Oh, no, that's right. I just remember hearing about Beal not playing.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go back to a little traditional format that we've been on here for about 20 minutes already, 25. You got any shout outs?
Shout outs. You know what? I did have one. I'm gonna save it for next week though, because I don't have the exact name of it, and I wanna get it right. It was I'll hit it next week.
What
do you got?
I do have one, and you've never met him before, but he's a follower of the show, and I've shot him out before. His name's Mike Olander. He is, once again, my cousin's husband. He is Olanderology. He follows the show. He tweets at us. He talks about it.
Yes, big follower on Twitter.
So, Money Mike, my cousin's husband, Mike Olander, shout out to you for following the show, keeping up with the season.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's to him. And we got a shout out from you next week coming.
Yes, actually, I'm going to give a quick one because I'll save that one for next week because I got to check the name. But I do, and I've given a shout out before as well. But I know that a couple of people that we went to high school with, Brent Moore, Chad Gross, a couple of Ottawa's finest. I've been told that they will sometimes watch Spaghetti and Meatballs down in the coach's office. So
really,
shout out to you boys.
Yes, big shout out, Chad, my neighbor down the street. So,
yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna have to say something to him. I'll probably see him out and about either tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. I'm gonna give him a shout out.
Let him know. Know.
Yeah, for sure. I had a great dish of the week, and it was Kobe. And he, it was against the Nets. They lost the game, but he penetrated deep and did almost like a little 180 to Vooch for a dunk. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciated it out of him.
Yeah, I remember that's the one you texted me, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah. I like that one for the dish of the week. That brings up a quick point I wanted to discuss. So last night we made the most threes that we've made all season. 18, I think. And I think that what they need to, so to the point that we've made of specifically about how their offense operates, with Kobe, with Io, and even Caruso can get to the rim. DeMar's ability, Zach's ability to get to the rim. We really need to focus on that. Like, because your point of Kobe drawing in the defense, then either finishing, getting fouled, or kicking out for a semi-open three. Like, I think that's where this offense needs to operate.
No, and I am with you. Like, I just think that you and I was driving in the car. We talked about the amount of threes they should be taking. You're 100% correct that, like, if Kobe can penetrate in, because really Zach can, and it's frustrating because it's like he wants to settle. Yeah. And it's like, I wish they were like opposite in their minds.
Yeah.
Because I think Kobe's probably a better spot up shooter and Zach's a better penetrator. But Kobe wants to penetrate because I think he's basketball IQ is higher and knows that if he can suck that D in and kick it out. So you're right. Yes. Like, yes.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point too. You do watch Zach and you just get frustrated because you do feel like he could take it to the rim and at least get fouled. Literally.
You know what? It's like somebody called the score today. I'm just gonna make a little analogy, and they were talking about the Cubs. I know you're a huge Cubs fan, and they're like, I didn't dislike David Ross. The issue with David Ross was a guy has a hot day, goes like 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, and the next day he's on the bench. And Zach's very similar. It's like he goes to the cup and takes it in, gets fouled with an and one, and the next time out he's spotting up from the logo and launching a three. It's like, dude, you just had success.
Right. Stick with what works for you.
So it doesn't work, and then it's like, okay.
Right, exactly. Don't try and outsmart your opponent, outsmart yourself. Just keep doing what works.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a lot of times, well, I mean, we've discussed at length the lack of basketball IQ.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. You're right, but like we're here and we're doing our part.
And you know what? We will be till the end. We die hard. We started this through the thick and thin, so we're just gonna play it out and see what happens.
So just before we kind of close up shop, next 12 games. We're saying the Bulls go 5-7. We really need a 7-5.
We need a 7-5.
That's not asking them much.
No, you're right. I mean, it is definitely within the realm of possibility, but as we know, it's also within the realm of possibility for them to go 3-9.
Yeah, like that, man. That 4 in a row versus the Florida teams is going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, really, because. I don't know. I'm just thinking if we go 3-9 over these next 12 games, like
I will tell you what.
I'm going to live on the trade maker.
Yep.
And just what can we do? What can we do?
We go 3-9, and it's like that puts us at 6-14.
Ooh, oh.
You're in a bad spot.
This roster is not recovering from that.
No, they're really not. And then it's like if we're just muddling through, I'm going to really be like, I wish AK would know. Like we're fine with a rebuild if it's done in the right way and you keep us like we said last year, we talked about both these same teams, the Thunder and the Pistons last year, like, oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if we had Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey and that freaking what's his name? He's like a big guy on Detroit. And I was like,
I was just gonna say the big guy on Detroit. I can't think of his name either.
I think he went to Memphis, maybe. Look him up. I'm mad.
I'm gonna look him up. I got you.
Jalen Duren.
Yes, Duren. Yes. Yeah.
Like it's just frustrating. So we're gonna reconvene.
Yes.
We'll be there next week and we'll kind of give an update.
Yeah. Yep.
How many games do we have between now and next Friday?
Let's see.
I'm gonna write this down.
We have hang on. I was down the schedule a little bit.
I was writing on my whiteboard so I know over here so we can talk now.
We have 1, 2, 3 games. Wait, before when did you say?
Well, normally we do those show Fridays.
Yes. So okay, you're right.
Next Friday.
There are 4 games between then. The 5th game would be that Friday. 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's not that many in that amount of time. So, all right. So we want 5 games.
So 5 games. We have the Suns, the Pistons, the Bucks, the Magic. Those are the 4 games, and then the Magic twice for the second time would be the 5th game.
So 4. We need 2 and 2.
We need 2 and 2, John.
All right. Well, let's reconvene next Friday, and we'll see where we're at.
All right, we'll see what happens. It's going to be could be an interesting season here on Spaghetti and Meatballs.
As always.
That's Al Dente.